Hey y'all, come on in. It's time. Time for the grown folks vibe, y'all. Come on in. I need some participants tonight, honey. Come on in. We're talking about sex tonight, y'all. Come on in. Last week we talked about dating, and all the married people were probably like, I don't want to hear about dating. I haven't dated in 25 years. Well, tonight we're going to talk about sex the way God intended it to be. So come on in, honey. Come on in. This is stuff people don't want to talk about. You can't miss this conversation. I need your input, your approval. Not really your approval, but we definitely want your input and opinion. Come on in, y'all. Tag somebody. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Who is that? Cephas Roslin. Welcome to the Grown Folks Vibe. You are the first one on. Welcome, honey. Come on, y'all. Come on in. Text somebody. Hey, Mom. Mom, we talking about sex tonight, okay? So we'll have to call and talk about it after we get off the Grown Folks Vibe, okay? So call the mother's board, honey, because I know they want to interject about sex, honey. Call them and tell them we on the line. Tristan, what's up? Christina, welcome, welcome. My crew from last week, welcome. Sister Annie Mack, what's going on? Glad to see you. Welcome to the Grown Folks Vibe. Honey, y'all come on in. Text somebody and let them know we talking about sex tonight, honey. We talk about sex. Y'all remember this song by Salt and Pepper? This is not a church song, but it's not bad. You know, it was compared to this music now, honey. It goes with tonight's theme. We talking about sex. I'm so hot in here, y'all. It's warm down here, and I didn't cut the air conditioner on. I didn't open any windows, so I'm feeling a little warm. Y'all don't judge me. It is a little warm, and I do have a sweater on, but you know, I tried to mix some little fall colors together. Come on, y'all, honey, get the numbers up, invite the people in. I'm going to go ahead and get started in just a second. This is not an easy topic to talk about on a church platform, so I need y'all's input tonight. I need y'all's help. I'm going to switch this song over to some Grown Folks Vibe music right quick for y'all on the Grown Folks Vibe. This is not an easy topic to talk about, but I want you all to know that if the people in the world can talk about it, and it wasn't even intended for them to position it the way that they do, you get it? Position it. If it wasn't designed the way that the world is doing it, it was designed for the institution of marriage. It was designed to be something beautiful. It was designed as a gift from God. But honey, they have just taken it and over-sexualized everything and just, you can't even turn the TV on to get a Pepsi and get a Pepsi advertisement without it being sexual, right? So y'all come on in, let somebody know. We are excited tonight. I'm so glad to be here. As you can see, I'm still kind of in transition. I don't have y'all's cute little background up, but I did light a couple candles for y'all in the background, so that y'all can feel the vibe tonight. Y'all come in because I need y'all's help tonight. I need y'all's input to keep it real. You know we're going to keep it real. Crystal Clear Convos, hosting the Grown Folks Vibe. We're going to tell y'all what the real deal is tonight. There we go. That sounds better though. A little mellow. Y'all let me know how I'm doing on the sound. Reginald, welcome. Is it Danita? Welcome, welcome. So glad to have y'all on the Grown Folks Vibe. Tonight we talking about sex. Y'all get the numbers up because this is something that we don't talk about a lot on the church platform, but it's real. And God designed it for us as a gift to us in the institution of marriage. And we want to get this message out so people know what sex was originally designed for. Y'all, I'm sitting on a stair stepper. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. What's up, Liz? Hey, boo, what's up? Welcome to the Grown Folks Vibe, honey. Come on in. We talking about sex tonight. Tag a friend, call a friend. Welcome, y'all. I'm Sister Crystal Smith, and this is the Grown Folks Vibe, the Temple of Healing Waters, where our bishop is Bishop Chad Carlton, and our First Lady is First Lady Doris Carlton. They had the vision and the forward thinking to allow us this platform to be able to talk about taboo topics, things that we may not normally discuss in the church, topics that may be in the church or may be obvious that don't get talked about. We are talking about those on this platform. I love to get you all's feedback and I love to know what you all are thinking about it. So if you have topics you want to discuss, suggestions, ideas, anything, please send me an email at info@crystalclearconvos.com. info@crystalclearconvos.com. Because every week, y'all, I've been coming up with the topics. Nobody said, we don't want to hear about that. So I'm assuming this is stuff that y'all want to talk about. So come on in, honey, and let me know what's going on. We're getting started. So tonight's topic, as I said, is about sex. And it's about, some of y'all, you know, if the children are in the room, y'all, send the children away. They need to be going to work on homework or go plug the computer in or recharge it or do something. This topic is not for children because we're going to get into it tonight. And I'm going to keep it PG for y'all. This is a church platform. But this is something that we need to talk about. If God designed sex for marriage and for us, and we are the church and we're in the church and we're human, we want to make sure that we talk about this in a healthy way. So send the children out, honey. I'm giving you a second to send them out. Have them go put some in the laundry, clean up their room, and put their shoes up for the night. So normally sex in the church is a lot of times, you know, it may be mentioned. They may kind of skim over the topic a little bit. They may not really fully engage in the topic of sex. You know, they may not have a real time where they sit down and really get into what sex is about and what sex is and all that. I grew up, and let me just preface this by saying everything that I'm talking about, and y'all type it in the comments so when people come in late, honey, they know what we talking about. We're not talking about just sex, casual sex, honey, when you slinging it from one coast to the other. We are talking about sex within the institution of marriage and how God designed it to be, the sanctity of sex. Sex should be enjoyable. It should be fun. It should be all of that within the confines of your marriage. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Because some of y'all, honey, y'all been having it. We're just going to talk about it tonight. Y'all just hanging here with me. Give me your feedback. Give me your comments. You know, I try to check the comments, but I got to stay on track, read, you know, follow the comments and all that. But y'all let me know what you're thinking about. So don't misconstrue this for what I'm saying. Is this is permission for y'all to have casual sex with anybody that comes around. This is about the institution of marriage. We live in a society today that is definitely overly sexualized. The television shows, everything that we come in contact with just about has something related to sex. I was watching somebody the other day and they said that the numbers for porn are the watching hours for one porn website is up to so many billions of hours. Everything that sells, a lot of times, is easier to sell if it's sexually related. You put somebody attractive up there, make it sexy, and they sell. Hey, T-Tom, what's up? Welcome. So we're in an overly sexualized society, right? All types of sexual perversion is becoming more and more acceptable. You know, people are becoming more and more open to having threesomes and swinging and doing all this other kind of stuff. God is not pleased with those things. That is not what sex was designed for. You know, people having orgies. It's talked about in the Bible. Since the Bible days, people were doing sexually immoral things back in the Bible days as well. So we're just going to talk about today what sex was designed for and how we should definitely not be ashamed of it. So I grew up in the church, right? And I mean, grew up in the church literally like almost every day of the week. We're there for hours, like born and raised. I knew everything to do. But when it came to the topic of sex, it was more like, don't have it, don't do it, it's a sin, keep your legs closed, don't get pregnant, don't come back with an STD. If you do it, you know, and it was just a lot of don't, which we are supposed to teach our children and train them in the way that they should go. So that part was right. But in conjunction with that, we needed to understand what all of that meant, okay? So how many of you all, because y'all know I don't have children, so y'all let me know, have you ever walked in on your child doing something inappropriate? For those of you that have boys, maybe they sitting there with the JCPenney magazine. Are they doing something they don't have any business? And you just go completely left and try to shame them. In that moment, that's not a time to shame the child because God gave us, as they enter puberty and do different things, they're going to have these different desires. They're going to try to figure out, well, what's going on with my body? Why am I feeling this way? What does this mean? And the lack of the conversation that the church chooses to have about sex, sexuality, sexual feeling, arousals, body parts, your body, and all of that, it needs some work. It needs some tweaking. We're taught to be shamefaced and cover our bodies. Y'all cover us up. I remember one time my grandma, I had a shirt on probably like this. It was probably right there. There's no cleavage really showing. And she said, honey, if you bring that over here, I'll sew some lace on it. So cover up to your neck, cover up to, And so the naivety behind some of, the naive young people then turn into naive adults, right? Because when we go to school, do they even still have sex education in school now, high school? I don't know what the children are learning now, honey. They learn it on their own. If we don't teach them, they definitely gonna go out there and learn. And it's much more advanced right now. Sex is a gift from God. Sex is meant to be pleasurable. Sex is a form of worship, okay? Sex is meant to be a weapon against the enemy, to connect and unite a couple together. This again is in the confines of your marriage, not just casual sex. But sex is meant to be used as a weapon against the enemy. The enemy will try to wedge himself in your relationship. The enemy will try to throw things at life that you just feel like you can't get beyond. And sex is designed to keep you all in the same space and in the same place, right? How many times have you met someone and they're like, oh, we've been married for 20 years. It's just, we just grew apart. We're not together. We sleep in separate rooms. Well, if you no longer are experiencing sex and intimacy anymore, you will have grown apart. And the enemy will have opportunity to try to get you to explore divorce and separation and depression and all these other things. God designed sex as a tool of worship. It's not meant to be something that is shameful. And I feel like in the church, we don't explain it all the way through. So we don't explain it that sex is meant to be beautiful and it's okay to have it and it's okay to, be comfortable with your body and showing your body to your husband, y'all, and to be okay with that. So today we kind of want to talk about that. We talk about, when we're growing up at church, they're like, you can get an STD and you can do this and you can do that. But you want to stay pure and you want to cover up and be modest and shamefaced and all of that. But you're not explaining the repercussions of me getting pregnant and having a child. Help me understand that. I know they had a program where the school had dolls and the kids were required to take the dolls home so that they would understand what a baby was like, waking up at 3 a.m. and every couple of hours and having to change the baby and not being able to go out, having to get a babysitter and things of that nature. So, explain to them what STDs are. Don't just say, don't do it because you could catch it. Go find some pictures. Visual images work well. Now, I'm not a sex ed counselor. I'm not a anything. But there are ways out there that you can explain these things to your kids to help them better understand. If you're a single mother and you're dealing with a boy, we don't understand what's going on with young men when they're growing up and entering puberty and getting hard-ons and all this other stuff. We don't understand that part of the body because we are females. So having someone that you trust in your life to be able to explain these things to them and that they're not necessarily bad, they're just not meant to be used at this point in your life. You want to preserve that for your marriage, right? So just being able to explain these things, these intimate details in a much better way is so important. I know people that I've had conversations with that didn't even know how to put their sanitary stuff in properly. I was watching Black Love. This is Oprah's show. Sister Annie Mac said there's some good photos out there. Absolutely. And not photos to be, inappropriate, but just trying to explain to the children, hey, if you mess around with the wrong one, this could be you, right? And so I was watching Black Love the other day, and there was a young couple up there. They've been married, I think they said like 12 years or something, like 6 years. No, 12 years, something like that. They have 3 beautiful children now. She grew up in a very conservative church. And she said when she got married, honestly, she did not know where things went. Now, I'm going to keep this as PG as I'm going to keep it, but we grown. Hopefully, y'all sent the children out the room. We have to have this conversation. It's important, okay? She didn't know where stuff went. She didn't know where the tool lined up with the hole and how to get it all together. She did not know or understand her body. She did not know how to make her partner happy. This is in marriage. And she grew up in the church, but nobody ever took the time to explain to her anything about sex. So including the emotional part of it, after they had sex, she didn't want to talk about it. He would be like, well, did you enjoy it? She didn't want to talk about it. She would completely shut down, which led to her completely doing it out of a duty. She felt like, this is my wifely duty. Let me roll over real quick and do what I'm supposed to do as a wife. And that is not how it was designed to be. God designed it so that we could enjoy it. And so they just went on to talk about how it created some serious problems. He was very tactful and very sweet. He loved her very much. And he was like very patient. He said, we struggled for a long time to the point where I just had to call somebody and be like, look, I've tried everything. I just don't know what else to do. She won't talk about it. She won't, try anything new. She's miserable doing it. I don't know what else to do. So, they were able to, the person that he called, his wife, was able to work with her and kind of guide her and counsel her on some things and enlighten her on some things. Because it's really about understanding how to please your partner and things of that nature and what they need from you, right? And so basically later on, she was like, y'all, this man is so patient. He had 6 years of bad sex with me in our marriage. And, people produce children. They go along every day thinking that everything is okay. And honey, the naive young people turn into naive adults, which turns into sometimes a miserable sexual relationship, which is not how it was designed to be. It should be healthy and fulfilling. I know another young lady that said, I was born and raised in the church. My mother was a pastor. And, all we were taught about being shamefaced and covering up and doing this. So the first year of my marriage, I walked around with flannel pajamas on. I'm sorry, I had to get a little parched. She walked around with flannel pajamas on. If you understand how men are wired and how men are built, they're visual beings, right? So you walking around with a bonnet on, you're walking around with your flannel pajamas on, nothing that's attractive to the man, nothing that, he's excited by something visual. And then you wonder why, at the end of the day, he's kind of like, well, looking at this woman, she got her hair done, little lipstick on, got a nice dress on, heels on, looking nice, because men are visual. Now, men, you don't get a pass. Women are emotional and we desire intimacy, right? So we want to hug and we want to talk about how much you love us and, just how good you make us feel when you tell us we're beautiful, and we want to be held and cuddled up too. And let me just preface this also, because I know some of y'all judging me. I have been married before, although I'm single now, so I'm well versed on sex and the institution of marriage and sex in marriage, okay? So I just want to throw that out there because y'all might be like, well, who is this? She up here talking about all this stuff and having these heated conversations, and what is she talking about? So been there, done that. We all grown. We grown folks on the grown folks vibe. So that is why we are talking about this tonight. I want you all to have this conversation because I wanted to help your relationship, but not just help your relationship, you to be able to explain things to your children. If you have any type of ministry or whatever, these children now are very advanced, y'all. They are very advanced. Please don't think that 9 years old is way too young to talk to your children about sex, because the stuff that they have to learn at school in the bathroom is just too much right now, okay? So basically, this young lady talks about how she wore flannel pajamas, and if there was just, the husband of course is attracted to her, but it's flannel pajamas. When you get in, you got to cover up the sheets all the way up to your neck. The lights got to be off. You can only do it in one place, in one position at one time of the day. That's not how God designed it. God wants you to be able to be emotionally and physically connected. So, if you have the opportunity and the time, y'all, I'm keeping this as PG as possible. I mean, G, not even PG. I'm keeping this as G as possible, right? So, in the institution of your marriage, God wants you to have enjoyable sex. And like I said, sex is a form of worship. So y'all make sure y'all having praise and worship over there. As far as making a woman feel comfortable and intimate, don't make us feel like we're just an orifice for you. Be able to have intimate moments where you walk by, you might brush her shoulder, or you hold her hand, or you touch her leg, you walk up to her and you give her a hug. All that is part of intimacy. All of that relates to a healthy sex life, right? Learn what your partner likes and what they dislike, right? So being able to understand how their body works, what they like and what they dislike is very important. You all should be able to have a healthy adult conversation about this. The Bible talks about sex. It talks about the bedroom is undefiled. It talks about be fruitful and multiply. It talks about not withholding sex from one another unless it's a mutual agreement, for fasting and praying. So some of you all that get mad and angry because he didn't do exactly what he wanted you to do, and you say, I'm going to hold this and he ain't getting none for a whole month. That's not right. It's not biblical, right? So mutual agreement. We want to have happy, healthy sexual relationships within the constitution of marriage, y'all. This is not a free pass to just go out there and be swinging it from one side to the other, okay? So sometimes there are barriers though in the bedroom, right? So some of the barriers are insecurities, and there's insecurities on both sides. Sometimes women can be insecure and men can be insecure too, which causes us to cover up, to put on a sweatshirt and sweatpants and not want to put on anything, that would be frilly or fluffy or sexy, and put your little smell goods on and look sexy. It's okay to be saved and be sexy in the institution of your marriage. It's okay. This is not a shameful topic, and we should not be ashamed to talk about sex within the institution of marriage. So all those people that are having a whole conniption right now, you've been tore your pearls off, clutched your pearls, text the pastor. This is all within the institution of marriage. This is how God designed it, and you need to understand that God designed this. God designed you to be able to fulfill your husband and your wife sexually, okay? If you can't talk about it, then you need to go back and replay this, because you should be able to be comfortable talking about it. And if not, maybe you guys should go to somebody, a counselor, whatever, to figure out how to talk about your sex life in a comfortable way, right? So we have these different insecurities sometimes. Sometimes we're not happy with our body images, and, oh, I don't want you to touch my fat roll. The women will say, you don't want me to touch my fat roll. Some of y'all got them Kojic bellies, men. Y'all been eating too much chicken and macaroni and cheese late at night. So y'all came in, y'all got them Kojic bellies touching the top of the table. So you want to cover up. You don't want to be sexy. Women want their husbands to be sexy too. You don't have to have a six-pack, but my goodness, when that belly touched the table, before you 3 feet from the table, but your belly is right there at the table. So, you're not really happy with your self-image, but that's all stuff that we can work on. That's all stuff that we can work on. Recently, I had to start walking again because, we all been over here eating and smiling and eating, right? So, working on ourselves and our body image so that we can feel sexy for our husbands and be comfortable with our body image and self-image, right? So what are some other barriers, Crystal? Well, another barrier could be hygiene. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is not specific to my ladies. However, I will start with the ladies. Some of y'all just need to chop the whole half of your bottom off and throw it away and then come back and revisit it. Some of y'all cannot use over-the-counter products, and you need to go to the OBGYN and have them evaluate what's going on. You don't understand why your husband doesn't want to be intimate, but the horror of what he has to go through doing intimacy, right? So you want to make sure that everything is okay, fresh and clean and just fresh and breezy, right? So we're making sure that we're keeping our areas all sanctified and holy and nice, right? So hygiene should not be a barrier. Men, we do not need y'all walking around smelling like sweat socks either. So men, y'all make sure that y'all are cleansed and fresh and nice, because we don't want that as a barrier. Now, some of the other barriers that somebody said fresh fish. I'm gonna put you in timeout. You are crazy, but that's real talk. Cause y'all, I've been in the airport. You know how you in the airport and you gotta stand in line to use the restroom. I hate that. I hate having to walk directly in the bathroom with some, behind somebody. But I mean, you just gotta do what you gotta do, because sometimes you just walk in and you like, oh my god, like, oh god, like I can't even. Hold on, yeah, regroup, y'all. So look, what about some of the stuff we can't control, right? Now, this is going to hit some of y'all hard that's been married 25, 30 years. But this is real talk, y'all. Physical health conditions like high blood pressure or diabetes and things of that nature that could contribute to erectile dysfunction, vaginal dryness. What about menopause? All these things are real things that affect our sex lives. And all I can say to the things that are beyond your control, because barriers that are within our control, our hygiene, our perception of our body image, those are things that we can control. But when you start talking about, we've been together 25, 30 years and he just can't get it together like he used to. Well, he may be experiencing some issues that could be related to health issues or aging or whatever. All I can say for that is be willing to do whatever you have to do that's healthy as long as you can. So if you need to go visit the doctor and say, hey, doc, this is what I have going on, blah, 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 can you help me out? He may say, you know what, you're overweight. If you lose 20 pounds, you could come off the blood pressure medicine and it'll fix it. He may be able to give you something else, like a little blue pill or something like that. Y'all figure out what you need to do. But it's just real talk. These are things that people go through in their marriages that relate to sex that can be barriers. And that's not, it would be selfish for someone to say, oh, I'm not going to get on no blue pills, but you can't perform. And that's almost like intentionally withholding. Like you can still do something about that. So, let's not be selfish. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. We are grown, y'all. This is the grown folks vibe. We're grown folks. And like I said, you don't want the enemy to use your lack of sex and the tool that he created to connect you as a wedge, to wedge you all further apart, right? Marriage has its challenges. Marriage is hard. So the tool that God used to be able to keep us connected, we want to make sure that we are doing whatever we need to do to stay connected to one another. So like I said, don't be embarrassed. Do whatever you can as long as you can. So look, y'all, my time has come to an end. We got some comments. Your partner helping you have a healthier lifestyle, like cooking healthier meals, is a sign of intimacy. Absolutely. Thank you, April. Like, there are other ways to be intimate other than just jumping in the bed, y'all. And like I said before, women love intimacy. So come in here, help us cook. Let's find some games. They have all kind of adult games that will help you ask each other questions. And then you touch me on my wrist, and then I was like, ooh, and just kind of spark that connection again. Get it started, get it going again. Don't be ashamed or afraid to explore different things. Now, I'm not going all into some of the other stuff because people have their opinions on different things when it comes to toys and perceptions of whatever. So I'm just going to keep it with, go find you a little card game and y'all find a way to have a fun exchange. And there's plenty of other ways to explore things. I saw something on Facebook the other day where they actually had an intimate couples workout where it was like the guy, he didn't have his shirt on. The lady, she had her little cute little workout outfit on. And it was, however the instructor designed it, they designed it so whatever moves you're doing, like you're intertwining with one another, but at the same time you're exercising. Now, some of y'all need to go exercise because y'all got them Kojic bellies. We got to do better. Now, I cut this off intentionally right here because I don't need y'all to see my Kojic belly. But we're going to work on those so that we're comfortable with our self-image. Lastly, the whole point of this grown folks vibe is sex within the institution of marriage is a gift and it is acceptable in God's eyes. And we want to please our partner. We want a happy, healthy, and whole sex life. It's more to sex than just having 10 minutes right before you fall asleep every night. Some of y'all haven't changed positions in 27 years. It's more than just missionary style position, okay? So we want to reconnect and re-engage. Stop sleeping in separate rooms because that's the enemy's way to separate y'all and separate the connection that he designed for you all. Don't allow him to do it. So like I said before, y'all, if you have topics, I hope you all enjoyed this topic. If you have things that you want to discuss, make sure you hit me up, info@crystalclearconvos.com. I also want to let you all know that I'm very excited. I want y'all to save the date, December 5th. December 5th, I'm hosting a virtual event called Make Your Vision Crystal Clear. Now, you all go to all these different little vision board parties and things at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year. We need to prepare ourselves for our vision for next year. 2021 is amongst us. It's approaching quickly, and so we need to be able to get our vision down. The Bible says, write your vision down and make it plain. So this is going to be a vision board experience. It's going to be virtual. You can be right there in your pajamas from the comfort of your home. And we are going to have a great time. I have a workbook sketched out for you guys. We're going to do the workbook. We're going to have some fun. We're going to cut some stuff out and up and realize our vision and our dreams. We're going to note them down so that we can be praying on them and working towards those goals in the future. I hope you all enjoyed this Grown Folks Vibe, because I certainly enjoyed you all. Remember, sex is meant to be pleasurable and fun, and it's worship in the institution of marriage. So you all go have some worship tonight, okay? And I will see you next week on the Grown Folks Vibe. Be blessed. Take care.